Hello and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. Today we're talking about medical and nutritional truths, or the myths and the truths. Okay, we're going to talk about one, two, three, four, five, six of them today, I think. So we're spilling the tea. We're going to talk about like what the real deal is on some commonly not understood or commonly believed things that are not actually true. And I don't want this to be negative. I don't want it to be negative. I'm just really passionate about this stuff because I think it's very important for you to know these things. I think it's important for you to have consent around these things. And yeah, so that's it. So I don't want it to come off negative. I don't want this to sound like a bitch fest because that's not my intention. Normally I do these in the morning, and I didn't do it this morning because listen to what I did this morning. So one of our horses had a doctor's appointment today. So I get the kids up, get them showered, we load the horse up, and then we start to haul towards this place called Outlaw Equine, which is like a physical functional movement and medicine place for horses. So we get about a quarter of the way there, and my low tire light goes off on the truck. And I was like, okay. Well, then it tells you like the pressure, the tire pressure, and it went from 75 to 40, like that. And I was like, well, that's not good, especially because I'm pulling a really heavy trailer with horses in it. So I call Outlaw Equine and I'm like, hey guys, I'm not going to make it. Like, I'm going to have to turn around and unhook and then go get the tire fixed. And so can I reschedule? And they're like, ma'am, your appointment isn't until tomorrow. So great. I was like, okay, well, that's really good. I said, but that saves a lot of trouble. But now I've cleared my schedule for Wednesday morning. Anyways, long story short, we made it home. Tire is fixed. We will turn around and go back to Outlaw Equine tomorrow. But let's talk about nutrition and medical truths. Okay. So I'm Audrey. If I'm just popping in the news feed, if you're new in this group, I'm a functional integrative nurse nutritionist and energy medicine practitioner. I help people heal from the roots up and the inside out. So I help you discover your root cause, rebalance it, and heal for good from chronic illness, from autoimmune disease. I help you if you just can't lose that weight, all of those things. So let's dig in. Okay, so the first one that I want you to know is that, and I'm just going to state the truth rather than stating the myth. I guess the myth is that you are doomed or damned by the genes that you inherit from your parents. And I don't care if it's the BRCA gene for breast cancer. I don't care what it is. That the going rumor is, are you doomed, right? And so sometimes you can think of that as, is your practitioner pre-genomic or post-genomic? Okay, a pre-genomic practitioner versus a post-genomic practitioner. So the truth of the matter is that the genes that you inherit from your parents are not the most important factors. They're not even the top three most important factors as to whether or not you fall prey to any of the 10 leading causes of death in the United States. Not a single one of them. So it's not in the top three reasons why people die from the 10 leading causes of death in the United States. Do you know what does determine that? Your environment, your stress level, the way you handle your stress, your toxic load, your nutrition, right? All of these things are important in front of your genes, right? Genes are just one tiny ingredient. Like if you were making chicken noodle soup of reasons why you got XYZ chronic illness, or you came down with this issue, then if you're making chicken noodle soup of that, then the genes are like the parsley. They're like kind of important, but not a big deal if you don't have any, right? So keep that in mind. Gluten-free chicken noodle soup, by the way, with grass-fed, or not grass-fed, free-range chicken, okay? The second one is that the myth is that genetic research will eventually lead to drugs and cures for all diseases, right? For any disease. So the myth number two is that drugs and research, genetic research, all those things will eventually lead to cures for all the diseases. And that is unlikely, one, but it also, more importantly, it ignores the most powerful solutions that are in front of you right now. The most powerful solution that's in front of you right now is getting to the root cause of your issue, rebalancing your body, damned what anybody else is doing, but rebalancing your body so that you can heal, okay? The third one is the third myth. See, I want to just give you the truths, right? But the third myth is that you can control Single nutrients like carbs or fats or calories or cholesterols or even omega-3 fats and achieve long-term health or achieve long-term weight loss. And that is false. Obsessively controlling single nutrient intake doesn't leave you anywhere but frustrated. If you manage to get some success, it will be short-lived, okay? Because obsessively managing single nutrient intake does not fix root causes. It does not make it better. It does not change. It doesn't have an impact on your root cause, or it will have an impact on a single root cause temporarily, okay? So you have to look holistically at the big picture if you want to move past that stuff. Kind of along the same vein is that the myth is that vitamins and supplements give you long-term protection against disease. I'll say that again. The myth is that vitamins and supplements give you long-term protection from disease, and they don't. Vitamins and nutrients fill gaps, okay? They fill gaps in your nutrition, and they only fill gaps temporarily. You cannot, absolutely cannot, out-supplement a bad diet. You cannot out-supplement a high-stress job without having other ways to mitigate your stress, right? Vitamins and supplements, what I always call micronutrients, only go so far to support the body. And they only go so far for so long. You have to make those changes. So vitamins and supplements, kind of like medications, can be a temporary Band-Aid if you're not making any other changes, okay? So the myth is that vitamins and supplements can give you long-term protection against disease. The truth is that they do not. They do not. Not a single one of them. And certainly not a powdered vegetable or fruit in a capsule. That is the most insane thing people spend money on these days. They will say, I can't afford to buy organic fruits and vegetables, but I spend $60, $80, $100 a month on powdered fruits and vegetables in capsules. Yeah, it's a shame. All right. Drugs and surgery, the next myth, I think this is number 5, is that drugs and surgery cure disease, or drugs and surgery cure disease that kill most Americans. That is false. Drugs and surgery are Band-Aids. Drugs and surgeries do not cure anything. They might remove part of the problem, but they don't cure that underlying root cause. And so if you take something, and I think the example I used last time was a quadruple bypass. So say you have a quadruple bypass and you don't change anything else. Guess where you end up? Back at that same thing. You're in for your next surgery. You're in to get a stent placed. You're taking medication for the rest of the life. Because all you did, the name of the surgery is bypass, all you did was temporarily bypass that problem. It's the same with a total joint replacement. If you have a total knee replacement or total hip replacement or whatever the joint may be, and you change nothing else, guess what? You're going to have another joint replacement in the other side or in another major joint, because you're not rebalancing the body. You're not healing the underlying root cause. And this doesn't mean that it's wrong to do it, because with a total joint and with a heart procedure as well, like in the moment you have to do it, but you also have to make the changes to ensure that you can have some expression of wellness after that, and that you're not just a constantly in surgery and constantly on medications, okay? All of this is not to say that conventional medicine is bad. It's not. It has brilliant doctors, and it definitely serves its purpose, which is for acute problems. So if you break your arm, you need an orthopedic surgeon. If you're having a heart attack, you need a cardiac surgeon, right? If you have acute appendicitis, I was trying to think of like the non-medical term for that, but most people know what appendicitis is, right? An infection in your appendix, and it's gone septic, meaning you're super infected and it's all through your body, or a systemic infection. Then you need a surgeon, right? You need a surgeon. But in the same regard, if you have a problem that's nagging you, if you have a problem that's chronic and you're thinking, should I go have surgery for this? If you go see a surgeon, they're going to find a reason to operate, right? So make sure that that's either your last resort. So it's either your last resort, meaning it's an acute problem and there's nothing else you can do about it, or that you do that surgery and then you take the steps to make sure it doesn't happen again. Now, with some things, I encourage you, I don't care if it's tonsils and adenoids for babies and children, I don't care if it's an appendix or a gallbladder, like you want to keep all your body parts, okay? I can chart a journey for you for a kid who loses his tonsils and adenoids. And it goes in and out of popularity. Sometimes it's popular to take them out, and some years they're like, no, 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 don't do that. But I can chart a course for you for somebody who has had tonsils and adenoids removed, of how they started and where they end up, and almost pinpoint exactly what issues they're going to have along down the line, right, from having that surgery. Something to consider. And I'm going to get off on a tangent here. I see comments. It's Maria. Hi. Hello. And I think I touched on that a little bit last time with the gallbladder stuff, right? So the important thing to remember is that drugs and surgery don't cure diseases that kill most Americans. And interestingly, if you look at the causes of death, the top causes of death in the US, then did you know that number 3 that's not reported very often is actually medical errors? So part of those are surgical errors, but the vast majority of those are medication errors. And it's not medication errors as in I gave too much or too little. That's a very small percentage of that number, of that third place winning. But it's actually medications that were given in the approved amount for the approved reasons that just went sideways. Just a little tidbit of information there that ended up killing somebody for an adverse reaction. So take all of that with a grain of salt. The last one that is the last myth, number 6 myth, is that your doctor, your conventional medical doctor, knows what you need to be the healthiest version of you. Okay, the myth is that your medical doctor knows what you need to be the healthiest version of you. Okay. Now, again, I know you're like, Audrey, you just said medical doctors are good. They are. Medical doctors are good for what we need medical doctors for, which is acute issues. Okay. But your average conventional MD, or even some DOs, the percentage is a little bit different, but your average doctor does not know what you need to be the healthiest you. Okay. They do not. They know very little, if anything, about nutrition. They know very little, if anything, about how to do anything other than manage chronic illness with medication or surgery. And so it's very, very important that if you have an issue that is going on for longer than a week to 10 days to a month, 2 weeks type situation, that you push forward and get more opinions, that you seek out alternative. It doesn't have to be as alternative as me, right? But seek out some kind of alternative help. Do your own research. Make sure that you're informed so that you know how to be the best expression of wellness for you, because your doctor wants you not to die. So he's probably really good at saying, okay, if you leave this strep throat untouched, you might die, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a Z-Pack and maybe a steroid, depending on what's going on. And I'm going to send you home so that you don't die. But what they're not very good at is taking a look at the big picture, right? If you look at conventional doctors' offices, conventional medical doctors, they're broken down into systems, right? You go see the GI doctor for stomach issues and intestinal and digestive issues, right? You go see the ears, nose, and throat doctor for anything, above the neck. You go see the neurologist or the neurosurgeon for brain stuff. You go to see the cardiologist or cardiac surgeon for the heart stuff. You go see the orthopedic surgeon for the bone stuff. But what a good alternative practitioner can do is bring all of that together for you. Bring all of those systems together, because there is not a single system in the body that works independently of the other systems, right? You can go see an endocrinologist for your hormones, but that is mostly in your gut, right? Like you can go see a rheumatologist for your rheumatoid arthritis. But rheumatoid arthritis isn't a disease of the joints, and that's the only thing they're looking for is inflammation in the joints. And so it's really, really important that you become your own advocate, that you become the healer in your home, and you recognize where and how to find the information that you need to make informed decisions. Okay? So I feel like I'm getting off on a tangent. I feel like I could talk about this for a really long time. So I'll check and see if there's any questions. I'm going to take a sip of water. This is also a really good time to let you know that if you're looking to DIY your healing journey, right? So maybe working one-on-one with a practitioner isn't for you. If you're looking to DIY your healing journey with a community that with lots of support, that it has a big practitioner-led component, then make sure you check out the Root Cause Revolution membership. You can find it at audreychristie.com/membership. It's a monthly membership program. It's been going on a year. We have an incredible community there. It is jam-packed membership. I give all the things in this membership. And I've had so many people tell me it's made more of a difference for them than thousands and thousands of dollars they've spent with coaches and courses and even functional medicine doctors that are just pushing them to buy $800 worth of supplements and lab tests every month, right? So every month we have live Q&As, we do live energy healing sessions, we have an entire video and assessment library. You have a five-phase healing protocol. And then you get all these savings on practitioner grade supplements and lab tests and all that stuff. Always put new content in there. And there's a free private forum off of Facebook because there's things that you can't talk about on Facebook. So you can get all of that information at audreychristie.com/membership. So let me pop in here and see if we have any questions. So I'm still getting that message to my FPS is too low. So sometimes that means that I can't see, I can see that people are watching. Like I can see the number up in the corner of the screen that says I'm live and that there are people watching, but that's all I can really see. So if you have questions on things, nutrition myths, medical myths that you think, what is the answer to that? You know, like I heard this, is it true? I heard this about keto, is it true? I heard this about metformin, is it true? Then pop them in the questions below. Or even what was one I had recently? I heard that I can dissolve gallbladder stones, which we did a whole talk on last time. So make sure you put that information in the comments, ask me those questions, and I will come back and answer them. I will let you know if it's a nutritional medical myth or a nutritional medical truth, or if it's like a half and half, which is often the case, right? There's a little bit of truth and a little bit not so true in there. So thank you all for hanging out with me for this little 20-minute Wellness Wednesday class. If you only have one takeaway from all of this, you know, like I said, I didn't want it to be negative, and it might have come off that way. So I apologize for that if it did. But I just want everyone to know that you're not stuck with the cards that you were dealt. You're not stuck with the genes that you were dealt. Chronic disease is preventable. Autoimmune disease, chronic disease is 100% capable of being healed, okay? You can be healed. You can heal your body. It is possible, and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Don't let anyone tell you that there's nothing that can be done about it. There was a gal that DM'd me on Instagram this week, and the first thing out of her mouth was, Audrey, you've given me hope. The doctors told me that there was nothing can be done about it. And it was psoriasis. It was just psoriasis. And she's lived her whole life thinking that there's nothing that can be done about it. And there is. So I encourage you, if a doctor or anyone, a practitioner ever tells you like, sorry, there's nothing that can be done about it, you just got to live with it or learn to live with it, or you just got to take these medications forever, then walk away, find a new one. I beg of you to find a new one because you deserve better than that. You deserve to feel good. So I'll leave it at that. If you want to learn more about how to implement these things in your life, of course, you can check out audreychristie.com for simple, practical, sustainable ways to create your own health and wellness root cause revolution. Remember that I'm always rooting for you, friends, and I am so grateful for you hanging out with me. See you next time.